After many twists and turns and court dramas, the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial resumes this morning. Accused number 1 to 4 are now no longer represented by advocate Malisela Defu. Since the start of this trial in April, only one witness has taken the stand. Next month will mark 8 years since the former Bafana Bafana goalkeeper and captain was shot dead at his then-girlfriend's house, Kelly Kumalo, in First Laris. Slindelo Masikane is at the North Gauteng High Court with more on the story and joins us now. Good morning yet again, Slindelo. We just got a sneak peek there of AfriForum's Barry Bateman. It seems they are in court. Are we, and I see also Advocate Mshololo just behind you, are we expecting for court to, or proceedings to in fact resume today, where we get straight to cross-examination?
Certainly so. I think that's the hope that we're all expecting, because we know that when we adjourned back in June, the assumption was that once we resumed today, in terms of the 5th of September, this matter was going to sit for the next 2 weeks. As you can see behind me, as you correctly stated, Mfundo, that we are seeing 2 of the accused, at least here in court. That is accused number 2 and accused number 3. They are seated in the dock. We are now awaiting for the other 3 accused to make their way to court. You would remember that the accused are being kept in different prisons across Gauteng, and so bringing them is a bit of a logistical situation that unfolds. And we know that court proceedings also end early, just to allow for them to be able to be transported back. And as you've also said, that we have Advocate Zandile Mshololo, who is now running away to her seat. She hardly ever wants to say anything ahead of court proceedings. In fact, she says that she wants to allow the trial proceedings to conclude, and then she would be able to address us. But you can see that she's here. All we're waiting for now is the representative for accused 1 to 4. That would be Titi Tobani, because you would remember that Advocate Malisela Defu unfortunately withdrew from proceedings a couple of weeks ago, which meant that the accused had to get other legal representation. But of course, the instructing attorney took over. I'm joined by now Barry Bateman from AfriForum. Of course, we know that AfriForum is on a watch brief for the Meyiwa family. Of course, this sitting is for about 2 weeks, and we're hoping to see the resumption of cross-examination in terms of Sergeant Thabo Masia. As the watch brief for the Meyiwa family, you've been speaking to them quite often, and I imagine you've kind of are trying to manage expectations for them.
It's always been the case. Good morning, Slee. It's been difficult. The start of this trial has been beset by delays, fighting with the council, and all sorts of side issues that aren't relevant to the merits of the matter. So to get to this point, that's been set down for 2 weeks. We hope that the matter runs smoothly. My colleague Slang Mangwale, he's in constant contact with the family, updating them on every little development. We hope to see the family soon in court, maybe to come and watch proceedings, but let's get it going. Let's get through witnesses, let evidence be led, and go towards that end goal of closure for the family.
Yeah. Just lastly then, Barry, in terms of the letter that we've seen sight of, in terms of the NPA, which we're anticipating will be handed up in court this morning, the jurisdiction of docket 375 being moved here, and that a decision to prosecute only to be made after the conclusion of this trial.
Well, we don't see much relevance at this stage to that particular letter. It was an administrative matter that was dealt with the NPA internally. We've always held that the older docket, the original docket, if you want to call it that, is the one that is being prosecuted here, and that is the correct one. The NPA, in their statement last week, they made it quite clear how that second one came to being. The police have to deal with that. There's an issue for them to deal with. From the prosecution perspective, we believe that the right accused are before this court, and the matter must proceed, and the evidence that implicates them must be led.
Any concerns about the fact that we don't have any arrests in terms of this mastermind that Mr. Nell has alleged to?
Yeah, Mr. Nell's position on that is if he was handling the case, he would have done it differently. He would have, and that's our position as the unit, there would have been a mastermind also in these proceedings. So the prosecutor and the NPA are adopting a different approach to this. We'll certainly sit back and watch how it unfolds, but we are optimistic that eventually a mastermind will be in the dock.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bateman. That is AfriForum's Barry Bateman. Oh, and I see that we have Titi Tobane, the instructing attorney, but now, of course, the lawyer who will be representing accused 1 to 4 in these proceedings. He has made his way inside court as well. He is now seemingly consulting with accused 2 and 3. We know that, of course, there was a lot of drama preceding the resumption of this trial in terms of the representation for accused 1 to 4. Advocate Malisela Tefo, in a dramatic court sitting, withdrew from the case, citing various reasons, and then had written a letter a couple of weeks later saying that he was going to resume being counsel for the accused. But it seems that the instructions that Titi Tobane received was that he was the one who was going to be handling their case moving forward, and that the accused, in fact, no longer wanted or needed the services of Malisela Tefo, who we also know, of course, Mfundo has his own legal woes that he is facing. He is also before the courts. The LPC, that is the Legal Practice Council, has taken him to court to have him struck off the roll due to misconduct. There are about 22 complaints against him. And I do see Sergeant Thabo Mosia, the forensic investigator, who is now in the witness box. How are you feeling this morning, Mr. Mosia?
A little bit better.
A little bit better. You had surgery, if I understood correctly.
I had it on the 27th of July. Yes, I'm getting better.
You're getting better. And you think you'll be able to sit out the court proceedings this week?
I'll try it.
You'll try. All right, that's good. All right, that is Sergeant Thabo Mosia, as you can see, in the witness box, getting ready to testify and resume testifying, as well as cross-examination. To my left, you can see that the state prosecutor, Advocate Baloyi, is having some talks with Advocate Mshololo, but of course we know that ahead of court proceedings starting at around 10 a.m., that counsel is, of course, going to familiarize themselves with exactly whether we will be officially proceeding. But it does seem as though everything is going to run its course this morning, that we won't have any expected delays. You can see Titi Tobane just making his way to Advocate Mshololo as well as Baloyi. But of course, we will be bringing you those proceedings live in Mfundo when they begin at around 10 a.m. this morning. We might be a little bit delayed because I don't see the other 2 accused in the dock as yet.
Slindelo, we'll leave it there for now then and catch up with you around 10 o'clock for the official start of proceedings. That's reporter Slindelo Masikane monitoring the Senzo Meyiwa case for us.